This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Hello. Welcome to the March 11th, 2025 LSP board meeting. I'm Diane Baxter, Chair of the LSP board. As always, the board encourages active participation. If a member of the public would like to participate in the meeting, please type a question in the chat feature. I encourage all board members to turn on their cameras and make sure your cell phones are on silent mode. I'll now call roll call to establish quorum. David Austin,
Here.
Gail Batchelder,
Present.
Kathy Campbell,
He's here.
yeah, I see, all right, yeah, I see you're muted, Kathy. But we got it. Craig Ellis.
Here.
Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
Greg McBride,
Here.
Paul McKinley,
I am here.
Deirdre Manoia,
Here.
Jamie Smith,
Present.
and Diane Baxter, present. I guess for the benefit of you folks out there, so you can figure out which little pinhead belongs to whom here in the room. Why don't we just go around the table and introduce ourselves? This is Diane Baxter.
Matt Line. Chris Borges.
Carrie Budd.
David Austin. Jamie Smith.
All right. Very good. And Chris, do we have any members of the public?
Yes. Ryan Roden, Christopher Gill, Christina Fur, Lauren McCarthy, Matt Kissane, Rebecca Buswell, Nancy Fitzpatrick, and Wendy Wonder.
Right, very good, thank you. All right, first on the agenda is the Continuing Education Committee meeting. I will turn it over to David Austin. Lead that.
Sure, I'm calling this meeting to order at 12:07. Continuing Ed Committee. Any agenda changes or announcements? Meeting minutes from last month. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments or edits? So I'll go through the roll call. A yes is approving meeting minutes from last month. Greg?
Yes.
David's a yes. Jamie?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And Deirdre?
Yes.
Thank you. There's a number of courses and I'm just gonna group three. I'm gonna have three different groups, so we only have three roll calls. Maybe next time we'll only do one roll call based upon a recommendation from Jamie, but I'll start with the LSPA courses. One's a membership meeting and then the other 7 are related to the April 15th symposium that they're doing. The first one is membership meeting this month. It's listed from 4 to 5, but it's actually 4 to 5:30. It's one non-DEP regulatory credit, live webinar, future on demand. And then the next 7 are part of the symposium. The second offering is one technical credit, also in person, future on demand possibility. The third one dealing with PCB contaminated sites, I think where it was last offered in 2012, we have it as a new course. And that's 1.5 technical credits in person and possible future on demand. The fourth request is planning for climate change, 2 technical credits in person at the symposium, and then possible future on demand. And then the next one is conceptual site model development, 2 technical credits in person and future on demand. The next is mixed-use developments on PCB and solvent contaminated site in Everett, and that is the membership meeting that evening, 1 technical credit in person and then future on demand. And then the last 2 deal with PFAS, 4 technical credits in person, future on demand, and then POET systems in residential environments, 1 technical credit in person on April 15th, and possible future on demand.
Just one correction on that first course, it is 4 to 5. The EVO course next Thursday, one is 4 to 5. The request in the packet mentioned 4 to 5:30, but it was confirmed today, 4 to 5.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the 8 requests from the LSPA.
Second.
Any other discussions or comments? Yes is approving the 8 requests. Greg,
Yes.
David is a yes. Jamie,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Diane,
Yes.
and Deirdre.
Yes.
Thank you. The next 3 are requests from Mass DEP, also for the LSPA symposium on the 15th of April. I'm gonna group them together. The first one is 1 DEP regulatory credit in person at the symposium and possible future on demand. The second one is on PFAS updates and MCP regulations, also 1 DEP regulatory credit in person at the symposium and possible future on demand. And then the last one is 1.5 DEP regulatory credits in person and future on demand. Once again, those 3 are in person on the 15th of April, all DEP regulatory credits. I make a motion to approve the 3.
Would we be giving 1866, the POET one, a letter since it was last offered recently or a similar?
Oh, yeah, it was
Just offered recently.
I was gonna ask you about
It's a bit different. The one that was
Yeah.
offered in the fall, there was 3 30-minute sessions. And one of the 30-minute sessions was a course of a similar title. And Sophia Savaka from DEP presented. This one that's on the agenda is 1 hour, being presented by John Fitzgerald. I think it might be a little different, longer for presenter.
Okay.
Um,
So it'd be giving it a different course number.
I would think so.
Yeah, I did, thanks, Jamie. I did have a note on that, that it's a half hour up to 1 hour. So we'll have it as a new course number.
I think so. I think that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
I was either way, it didn't matter to me. So my motion stands to approve the 3 courses as proposed.
Second.
Any other discussions or edits? Roll call, yes, is approving the 3 courses. Greg,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Jamie,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Diane,
Yes.
and Deirdre.
Yes.
Thank you. The last request we have is from Numoa, site characterization, hands-on workshop, 5.75 technical hours, all in person, on various dates at various locations. Did anyone add up the hours? So 5.75.
Yeah, I did. Yep, that's.
I did too.
So I make a motion to approve.
Second,
Any other discussions or comments? So yes is approving this last request from MOA. Greg,
Yes.
David's a yes. Jamie,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Diane,
yes.
and Deirdre.
Yes.
So that's all the new business course approval requests we had. The next meeting will be on April 8th. And as usual, we'll get the course providers their paperwork.
Yep, in a day or two, your course attendance forms, I'll get those out to you, and the course listing on the website will be updated as well.
So that concludes the continuing ed meeting at 12:15.
All right. Next up, we'll call to order the Professional Conduct Committee meeting. And Jamie Smith, chairperson. Lead this.
Sure.
Thanks.
I call to order the Professional Conduct Committee at 12:15. Any announcements or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll review the draft minutes. Any comments or corrections on the February 11th draft minutes for the Professional Conduct Committee? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call vote to approve the minutes as written. David,
yes?
Diane,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes.
Jamie's a yes, minutes are approved. Okay, moving on to old business, our review of the active cases. Terry?
Sure. So the first one is 18C01. On February 11th, the board voted to accept an early settlement agreement whereby the LSP would voluntarily surrender their license effective April 30th, not reapply until at least April 30th of 2029. And prior to reapplying, complete 16 credits in board approved courses in certain areas, and those credits wouldn't count toward license renewal if the LSP gets relicensed. The ACO was fully signed on March 6, 2025. Number 2, 18C02. The CRT met on March 3rd and is scheduled to next meet on March 25th. The third case, 24C02, the CRT had an initial meeting on February 28th and is next scheduled to meet on March 28th. That's it.
I have a question, Terry. Do we issue press releases for surrenders, voluntary surrenders?
Yes.
Okay, just wondering.
Is there anything to discuss regarding the one we just assigned a CRT to last time?
Oh, no, I said for that one that the CRT initially met on
Oh,
February
okay,
28th
sorry.
and is next scheduled to meet on March 28th.
Okay. Is there any new business? No, new cases, okay. All right, I think that's all then. Next meeting, April 8th. Everything in person. During meeting at 12:19.
All right, and we'll call to order the board meeting at 12:19. Any announcements, Terry? Do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay, any changes to the agenda? I don't think so. All right, the few of the draft minutes for the last meeting, does anyone have comments on the meeting minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second,
Right? A roll call to approve the draft minutes. David,
Yes.
Gail,
yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Greg,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane is a yes. All right. All right. The next item is a report out from a recent quasi judicial session. First, on complaint 05C07, at the quasi judicial session on January 21st, Ms. Wood informed the board that LSP case 05C07 had exhausted his appeals, and the discipline that the board had previously issued to the LSP could now be imposed. The board had issued a final order in 2019. It suspended the LSP's license for 1 year. Second, it required the LSP to obtain 32 hours of continuing education courses that cover any of the following subject matter areas: hydrogeology, conceptual site modeling, remediation of non-aqueous phase liquid, and risk characterization. And 3, those 32 hours must be in addition to the credits otherwise needed to renew the LSP's license. The LSP had appealed the board's final order to Superior Court. After the Superior Court upheld the board's decision, the LSP appealed to the appeals court. After the appeals court upheld the board's decision, the LSP sought further review by the Supreme Judicial Court. The Supreme Judicial Court denied further review. While the appeals were ongoing, the discipline against the LSP was stayed. Ms. Wood stated that at the time the final order was issued in 2019, the LSP was given a 30-day notice before the license suspension was scheduled to begin. She asked the members of the board who were present whether to now also grant the LSP 30 days notice of license suspension. Ms. Batchelor, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Ellis, Mr. McBride, Mr. McKinley, Ms. Manoyo, and Mr. Smith were present remotely. Mr. Austin and Ms. Bagster were present in the room. Mr. Franklin was absent. After discussion, a motion was made and seconded that the letter to the LSP stating the discipline in the board's final order would now be imposed would state the 1-year license suspension would take effect in 30 days. Motion. Throughout this discussion, the respondent LSP's name was kept confidential. Now that this matter has been closed, the LSP's name, James DeCoulis, is being made public. So that's the first item from the quasi-judicial session. And I have one more. This is regarding the dismissal in case 12C01. At the same quasi-judicial session on January 21st, 2025, Ms. Wood inquired the board whether they wanted to dismiss case 12C01 that involved the same LSP as in case 05C07. In case 12C01, the board issued the LSP in order to show cause in April 2019. The LSP in turn asked for an adjudicatory hearing. While the hearing was pending in February 2020, the hearing officer dismissed the case without prejudice due to the board missing deadlines. Ms. Woods stated the board had two options. One was to seek to restart an appeal, or two, dismiss the case. She asked the board members who were present which option to pursue. Ms. Baxter, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Ellis, Mr. McBride, Mr. McKinley, Ms. Manoyo, and Mr. Smith were present remotely. Mr. Austin and Ms. Baxter were present in the room. Mr. Franklin was absent. After discussion, a motion was made and seconded that the case be dismissed with a warning. The motion passed unanimously. Throughout this discussion, the respondent's name was kept confidential. Now that this matter has been closed, the LSP's name, James DeCoulis, is being made public. And that's all. Okay. Next item on the agenda, decisions regarding licensing of applicants. First, Matt.
We have 3 candidates to consider. Okay. First one, Mitchell Weiss, number 8634. ARP number is 346, was member Ellis, member Smith, and member Baxter. The applicant is a standard track candidate. Claimed 23 years of total professional experience with 19 years of relevant professional experience. The candidate is a LEP in Connecticut and a professional geologist in New Hampshire. The ERP met on February 25th, 2025 to review and discuss the application. The ERP felt that the applicant was well qualified and more than enough relevant professional experience with decades of experience noted. So the ERP recommended that Mr. Weiss be approved to take the exam.
All right, yeah, we can do.
Can you do the dockets 1 and 2 together? There's no reviews members.
You think each individual applicant should get a separate vote or can be timed together?
It probably doesn't matter. I guess for the applications, I would say keep them separate because that seems bigger than the courses.
I make a motion to approve docket 1.
Second,
Okay. This is to approve docket 1. David,
Yes.
Gail,
yes.
Kathy,
Give her a thumbs up.
Kathy, Kathy is muted.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Craig,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane is a yes. Okay, applicant number 2.
Yes. William Brochu, number 7571, ARP number 342, consisting of member McBride, member Smith, member Batchelder. This applicant is a standard track candidate and had claimed 32 years of total professional experience with 5+ years of relevant professional experience. Just to note that this candidate applied back in 2001 and was approved to take the exam, but never took the exam. The ARP met on February 25th, 2025 to review and discuss this application. The ARP felt that the applicant had plenty of total professional experience and with the recent position change in 2019, had met the 5-year minimum experience for relevant professional experience. They felt that the project summary documented good relevant professional experience, described a broad range of activities at retail petroleum sites. The ARP recommended that Mr. Brochu be approved to take the exam.
Okay. Can I have?
Motion to approve docket 2,
Good.
ARP.
second,
All right. This is to approve docket 2, William Brochu. David,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane is a yes. And docket number 3.
Number 3, Matthew Steele, number 4418. This is ARP number 345. Member Campbell, member Smith, and member Ellis. This applicant is a standard track candidate and had claimed 10+ years of total professional experience, with 5+ years of that being relevant professional experience. This candidate is a civil professional engineer in New Hampshire. The ARP met on March 5th, 2025 to review and discuss the application. The ARP felt that the applicant had good experience with sufficient RPE, and the applicant showed good progression throughout his career. With that, the ARP recommended that Mr. Steele be approved to take the exam.
Motion to approve docket 3, ARP.
Second.
All right, this is to approve. David,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Greg,
I'm recused for this one.
okay. Paul,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane is a yes. All right, next is renewal applications, and I understand there are no renewal dockets to approve. But Matt, could you give us a renewal status report?
Yep, so for the LSPs that are licenses expire April 30th, there's 12 on the roster. So right now there's 1 in the queue for review, and we're expecting the rest to come in later this month or next month.
All right, any other renewal related matters? All right, other licensing related matters. Matt, can you discuss scheduling of future ARPs?
Before we do that, just a status of 2 that are in the queue with ARPs already assigned. Matthew Bruno, number 9340. The ARP 344 had met back in February 6th. I'm still waiting on reference and some additional information from the applicant before meeting again. And Gina Golseth, number 1953, at last month's meeting, ARP 347 was assembled. Still waiting for 2 professional reference forms, and then the ARP can schedule a meeting.
What do you got?
Yeah, you're.
I don't know if you have something special.
So there's 2 that came in recently that ARPs need to be formed. The first one is for Christopher Gill of Whitestone Associates. This was, Mr. Gill was an LSP whose license had lapsed a few years ago. Gail, if you recall, you were on the ARP 2001 time period. So I put it out to you first if you'd like to be on this ARP, and then we'll need some others.
I'm fine, I can do it.
Thank you.
I thought the name sounded familiar, so that's interesting.
Mark?
I can do one.
I'm happy to jump in too. Paul here.
Paul? And then the other candidate application, Matthew Cassane of Fuss and O'Neill. For 3 volunteers.
Yeah, I can do one.
Thank you, Greg. I'll take it. Jamie, all right. One more, please.
I think I signed up in the past for some, and I don't know how that's working. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think you were in the panel for Gina Goldseth. We're still waiting on reference forms, but if you want
I'd
to
be
be on this
happy
one
to
too.
be on another one if that works for you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Deirdre. So once we get it completed, with all the reference forms in and everything completed, we'll send those around and schedule a call for the ARP. Thank you.
Great, very good. Next, Natasha, inactive status report.
Oh, we skipped,
Oh. Set date, for application review subcommittee meeting.
I think last time when we talked about forming an application review subcommittee, we also talked about setting a date for the first meeting at this month's board meeting.
Right, and to review whether we should make changes to the application to simplify it, okay? I was thinking individual applications.
Oh,
Okay, so. And we had a number of people signed up to be on that subcommittee, correct?
yeah, a number of people expressed interest, and I actually don't remember who they were off the top of my head. They're in the minutes, but I don't know if anybody wants to toss out potential dates for that.
Does anyone remember if they signed up?
Or
I
if
think
anybody
I
has
volunteered.
an idea of when they might like to have it, and then we can send an email around to firm it up.
Yeah, so I think Kathy and Craig are kind of signed up, Paul and Gail, Jamie.
I did too. I
Yeah.
expressed interest.
Yeah, I did too. I thought I did, but I mean,
You did.
You did, Gail, yeah.
Everybody available like in 2 weeks or something to have an initial?
sure, I can. 2 weeks is a good planning time.
25th.
When is that the week of the education the exam committee meeting?
No,
Next
it's not. Yeah.
Wednesday is
Okay.
exam committee the following week. Yeah, there's not an exam committee meeting.
Yep.
Should say after.
How about, so does it make sense to do it sometime early enough so that it isn't in the middle of the day? Oh, what day is it? What day is the 25th of the day of the week?
That's a Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's good. Tuesday would be good as long as it's after 10 for me.
Actually, Gail, we have a CRT meeting that day.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's not a 10, right?
It's at 2.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be multiple meetings, so maybe you have like a standing time every month. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is probably not gonna be a ton of meetings because the application isn't that long, but we could discuss that at the next one, like, we wanna keep that date. So people saw it around 10 o'clock, is that what I'm hearing?
I have a conflict at 10. Can't do 10.
Yeah, I do too. I can do 11.
11 works.
I can do 11.
How that works.
Alright, we'll send an email either later today or tomorrow, reminding everyone we can set up a Teams meeting for that date.
Okay. So next, inactive status report. Tasha.
So currently, we still have 2 listed on active status. For a total number active, we're at 407. For our annual fees report, final payment reminders went out March 4th. With a due date of April 2nd. Payments can be made via your e-place account. If payment is not received by April 2nd, accounts will be suspended due to failure to pay. And as of today, 402 have paid, 19 are outstanding.
Okay, very good. LSPs are encouraged to pay their outstanding balances online. However, we do have a pay by mail option that will include further instructions.
Have you heard from the 19 at all? Like
So what
they're
plan on
getting
making,
to it or they're retiring or anything?
plan on making a phone call, just to double check. And I think out of that 19 actually, we should take off 3. 2 of them are making 1 payment, payments coming. So
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Examinations, exam committee report. Matt?
The subject matter experts have been meeting with the psychometrician to complete the technical review process of new and old questions on the exam. We met last Wednesday, March 5th, and we'll meet again next Wednesday, March 19th.
All right. Continuing Education Committee report from today's meeting.
Sure, we met today, we approved last month's meeting minutes, and we approved 12 new offerings. And the next meeting is April 8th.
All right, thank you. Professional Conduct Committee report out.
Yeah, we met today, approved last month's minutes, discussed the active tables, the active cases. Of note, 18C01 is now complete with the ACO having been fully executed regarding the surrender of the license. And then the other 2 active cases are the CRTs are currently meeting and scheduled next month's meeting.
All right, thank you. Next item is regulations. Terry, do you have an update?
I have a little bit of an update. So since the last meeting, I did hear from the Assistant General Counsel at EA, who had some very minor edits, like mostly like missing spaces, typo kind of thing. And then moved it along. So I believe it's still at the EA, but it is actively being looked at and being through the process.
That's good. Personnel budget and fees.
I have no new information on any of the topics.
Okay, status of board member vacancies. We still have 1 vacancy for an environmental seat that we're still seeking any candidates. Let's see. Other business. I guess the other business comes into the topic of our next meeting. Terry, do you want to?
Yes, so the next meeting on April 8th, I just want to make everyone aware that right now there's a guidance that's set to expire on March 3rd, the end of this month, March 31st, if that's the last day. That waived the open meeting law requirement that there needs to be a quorum of a public board physically present at a meeting location. I called the Division of Open Government in the AG's office to see if they knew that if that was going to be extended. They said they don't right now. They said the legislature has extended it several times, but right now they're not aware of that. They'll update the website if they hear anything. We've also asked internally whether anybody knows if anything's pending with the legislature. So if it does expire, that means that for the April meeting, there needs to be at least 6 board members physically present at the meeting location. And we'll let you guys know if that's going to be the case, if nothing changes as of the end of the month.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
I know.
And so if there is a quorum physically present, other members who can still attend remotely
Yes.
and participate.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll let you know the progress on that, but as of, well, I guess the next meeting is April 8th. We'll update you as to how many people have to attend, I guess is the question.
Yeah.
We'll pay for your parking.
I was gonna say, we'll take turns being the one that has to come in all the way to Boston Park and then do all that for a 1 hour meeting.
I know.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
This has been working really nicely, so it would be nice if it's extended, but.
Yeah, so keep your fingers crossed, contact your legislature. Legislator. All right, we are adjourning at 12:45. Thanks all.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.